happy to see Raisina Tokyo 2.0 becoming a reality. I recall attending the first Raisina Tokyo, and exactly as Ninami-san has said, I am so happy to see the numbers, not twice, 3 times the numbers. And I look forward to attending Raisina Tokyo 3.0 next year. As I look around today, here in this audience, I see so many familiar faces. Leaders in politics, business, and many experts and scholars on foreign policy and security policy who have contributed immensely in building India-Japan special strategic and global partnership. And almost all who are familiar with Indo-Pacific, the many challenges it faces today, and the positive role that Quad plays in facing these challenges. Before I get into Quad and Indo-Pacific, I would like to thank the leadership of ORF, JBIC, and Kesai Doyukai for keeping this going, Raisina Tokyo 2.0 going, and also for the great effort they are putting in to further strengthen India-Japan relationship. As Ambassador of India to Japan, I have been here for more than 2 years. And I had the great privilege of traveling all across this beautiful country. I visited all the 47 prefectures, and some of them multiple times. And what I could see is exactly what our colleagues spoke in the beginning. I could see a momentum for India-Japan relationship at every corner of this country. You go to any corner, you see that there is that interest for India's economic growth and to partner with that. I am talking about not only big companies, small and medium-scale companies too. And it is very important that we convert this momentum into concrete business engagement. And that is what Ninami-san mentioned that, and I see that the number of delegations visiting from India to Japan and Japan to India, it has grown so much. So I'm confident that we will be able to convert this momentum into concrete outcome, and our relationship will continue to grow. Dear friends, we have multiple geopolitical and geoeconomic challenges around us. In the next 3 minutes that I have here, I would like to focus on one major challenge that we face today, and that is the scourge of terrorism, especially the cross-border terrorism, which Foreign Secretary had mentioned in his speech. The international community has time and again recognized terrorism as one of the greatest threats that humanity faces. The Quad leaders, in their joint statement issued last year, unequivocally condemned terrorism and violent extremism in all its forms and manifestations, including cross-border terrorism, and committed to strengthen their capability to prevent, detect, and respond to threats posed by terrorism and violent extremism, including threats posed by the use of new and emerging technologies for terrorist purposes. They called for accountability for the perpetrators of terrorist attacks. Dear friends, we are meeting today exactly 1 month after the gruesome cross-border terror attacks in Pahalgam in the Indian Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir on April 22, when they perpetrated by a group that has been sheltered and supported by Pakistan. Innocent tourists were mercilessly killed in front of their family and their children after being segregated on the basis of their religion. It was the most brutal terrorist attack on civilians in India after the 26/11 attacks in Mumbai in 2008. On May 7, India decided to respond by targeting the terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir in a decisive, measured, proportionate, non-escalatory, and responsible manner through Operation Sindoor. As Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi said, Operation Sindoor has carved out a new framework, new benchmark in our fight against terrorism. India, like other responsible countries around the world, has a zero tolerance to terrorism. Dear friends, today we have with us an all-party parliamentary delegation from India, which Maida-san has mentioned in his remarks, led by Sri Sanjay Kumar Jha, and they are present here right with us. They are here to have a face-to-face interaction with the leadership of Japan and the think tanks and the media community to explain and to narrate India's fight against terrorism. And I thank the leadership of Japanese government and the civil society here, being one of the first to come out and express their heartfelt sympathies and condolences to our leadership immediately after the terror attack in Pahalgam. I received so many phone calls and messages from our friends in Japan who expressed their sympathies with us, and also very strong words supporting us in our fight against terrorism. Today, the delegation which is here from India, the parliamentary delegation, had met the Foreign Minister of Japan, His Excellency Mr. Iwaya, and also former Prime Minister Mr. Suga. And they have shared their sentiments with the Japanese side. And let me tell you, they reiterated their condemnation of terrorism and and support for us in our fight against terrorism. So I once again thank the Japanese leadership for their continued support to India in this fight against terrorism. Dear friends, I would like to conclude by thanking ORF, JBIC, and Keisai Doikai-san for making Raisina 2.0 a reality. And I look forward to seeing in Tokyo again next year for Raisina Tokyo 3.0. Thank you.
My congratulations to JBIC, to ORF, to Keizai Doyukai, and a welcome to all distinguished guests here this evening. I acknowledge the Australian participants, including former Minister for Foreign Affairs Marise Payne, who's with us. She exemplifies a very important trend in the Quad. Through Australia, we have now had 3 female foreign ministers in a row since 2013. So I want to acknowledge that. Through her successor, Penny Wong, is at the moment in the Pacific, standing up for the security and sovereignty of smaller nations in the Indo-Pacific, something that the Quad is also about. I want to confine my remarks briefly to the Quad. The Quad exemplifies, I think, a realization between 4 great maritime democracies, the United States, Japan, India, and Australia, that peace and security don't just happen by themselves. They have to be, the quality of stability, free and open skies on which so much of the Indo-Pacific relies, that requires work, it requires collaboration, and it requires clear strategy. And my belief, as someone who's worked on the Quad for a long time, is that at a moment of disruption, turbulence, it's going to require our 4 countries working through all their very many regional partnerships, not just to talk about these issues, but to act, to pursue them, to protect them, and to advance them. So, as a representative in Japan of a great Indo-Pacific nation, Australia, I want to underscore our commitment to working with Japan, to working with India, to working with the United States, and to working with all our partners for peace, stability, freedom of navigation, freedom of overflight, and for secure connectivity. The Quad will work on maritime security, cyber security, secure connectivity, supply chain security, and together we will secure the Indo-Pacific future that all of our citizens deserve. Thank you very much.
First, let me thank the organizers of Tokyo Raisina for inviting me to share a few thoughts with you and for using a much younger photograph of myself. I think I'm the last thing standing between everyone and dinner, so I'll make my comments appetizer-sized. I'd like to pass along first Ambassador Glass's best wishes for everyone here today. Unfortunately, he is in Osaka on his first official visit to the Kansai region and to the Expo, where I believe it's UK Day. But he's looking forward to working with his Quad counterparts in the months and the years ahead. The Raisina Dialogue's return to Tokyo is a fitting nod to the man who was instrumental in the Quad's birth and evolution over the last 2 decades. It was the late Prime Minister Abe, as Chairman Maeda reminded us, who first recognized the imperative for a strategic partnership to uphold the international rules-based order in the Asia-Pacific. His concept of a strategic diamond and his vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific, where, as he told the Indian Parliament in 2007, people, goods, capital, and knowledge can flow freely now, form the core tenets of the Quad mission. The Prime Minister's determined efforts even earned him the title, the father of the Quad, or we might even say the Quad father. In a sense, he made us an offer we couldn't refuse. Although I should point out that it was his blend of quiet diplomacy and perfectly pitched comments that helped to make a shared common outlook and a framework for the 4 partner countries. The Quad has come a long way since its navies joined forces to help survivors in the aftermath of the devastating 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. After that, President Trump fully embraced the concept, and then President Biden adopted the concept completely from President Trump. Imagine that, a policy in which President Biden and President Trump saw eye to eye. I don't know if there's another policy that enjoyed that rare distinction. Of course, its existence couldn't be more relevant or necessary in today's uncertain geopolitical environment. President Trump is now back in office, and his administration has made that clear at the start of the year, when Secretary of State Rubio, on his first full day on the job, hosted foreign ministers of Japan, India, and Australia in Washington. Since then, Secretary Rubio has stated repeatedly that the United States will not accept bullying and coercive behavior in the Indo-Pacific. Instead, the Quad, along with the U.S.-Japan alliance, has helped to solidify a foundation in the region upon which nations can build prosperity. The Quad is also strengthening maritime security for millions in the region through joint naval exercises, training, and the provision of special equipment. This part of our work is critical to our mission of keeping shipping lanes and international waters open and trade between nations flowing. At the same time, projects to modernize and upgrade infrastructure, energy grids, communication networks, and healthcare access are enabling countries to attract investment from private sector partners and stimulate economic growth. Combined, these initiatives offer the people of the region a future of sustainable economic growth and peace. So tonight, it's worth remembering the late Prime Minister Abe's determination to build an Indo-Pacific of opportunity through collaboration and cooperation. The solidarity he fostered within the Quad will ensure that this partnership continues to transform lives across the Indo-Pacific for the better. Thanks, everyone.